I want to take a moment very quickly. Leslie, would you please remain standing? Leslie and Sandy Malloy, is Alan here? Those three, but I'm going to point Leslie is the one willing to say, I will be in charge of the Love Blooms project. Can you imagine what that was like? And then thank you. And with the help of course, Sandy Malloy and Alan in the office, the three of them, it took a village to make that happen. And I want you to know that on Christmas Eve, that slideshow will be scrolling in prelude, during prelude, and postlude. And you are in for tremendous musicians that Yvette has lined up for Christmas Eve, as well as singers. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful Christmas Eve service. So I hope you can join us for that. Well, the metaphysics of Christmas, the Nativity story. I was sitting there before, and I think we had this problem last year, because I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. So I'm sorry about that, but you're going to have to go down here. I'm like, okay, I'm going to rearrange. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to start you out with the Nativity story. Is there anybody here that doesn't know what the Nativity story is? Well, just in case, I have a little video to remind you of what the children see as the Nativity story. Should we all just go home now? The things I did while I was in Barbados. I found that video. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Where did I put that? Yeah. The best baby. You're the best baby I ever seen. That baby's going to come and change the world. Yep, we're going to get into that. I'm going to start off with, I know what. Yeah, let's get back in order here, Kathy. That'll help. Yeah, there it is. You're the best baby I've ever seen. That baby is going to change the world. That was the last line in that video. That baby is going to change the world. In Unity, we see this as the birthing of your renewed awareness of the Christ within you, and that is what's going to change the world. I want to say that again, because that baby is born in you. You remember that Sandy reminded you that the first part of Advent, every year, I typically announce you're all pregnant. And that's, everybody's like, what the heck, right? You are pregnant because you are about to birth a renewed consciousness of that Christ within you. Every year, actually every day, you get this opportunity to do that. And Christmas is just a reminder of that. But before we get into the metaphysical interpretation of this whole gang up here, I want to give you some facts to consider. Christmas actually stems, you know what? Can I get that stand there, please? Christmas actually stems from the ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agricultural sun god Saturn. Thank you. I'm going to bring that up here. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just lay those aside. So I find it interesting when you start to look at some of these things. Okay, so this Christmas actually started as a Roman pagan holiday. And there were lots of festivals. And this all stems around the winter solstice, that time of year when we're going from the longest, darkest days, and after December 21st, December 22nd, we now start. They have just another minute more of daylight as we move into the next phase. And so there was all these traditions of festivals, pagan festivals. Well, then Pope Julius I decided, because he was trying to present Christianity into the world, that if he could create a Christmas day on December 25th, which he personally picked, maybe he could start to sway the pagan traditions to start to open up and adapt to some of the Christian traditions. Are you catching some of this? This is very interesting, I find. Okay, so, and literally that's what happened. And I don't know if I've said this before, every Christmas I try to remind you, this little scene here was not developed until 1223 by St. Francis of Assisi. Now, he took this from the Gospel of Luke, because Luke wrote, and that's where we really come from most of our Christmas story that we hear read every year. The Linus, Peanut strip. He's reading strictly out of Luke. And Luke was a humanitarian. He was what we would have called nowadays a holistic doctor. And so he spoke and wrote in language that always included animals and angels and all things of the earth. And so St. Francis of Assisi took that out of Luke and then created the very first Christmas scene with live animals in a cave. So that's how this all came about. Now, this to me, it's facts like these, when I read these facts, that it makes me wonder. And I love that I end up in unity, because unity encourages us to wonder. Unity encourages us to question, to dig deeper into this story. That I was always, and that may surprise you, that I was always a kid that questioned everything. And I probably got in so much trouble and spankings for that in my childhood, because I was always asking why. I was always asking why, and I grew up in the generation of because I said so, all right? And so, but it didn't stop me. So then I end up in unity, and unity says, ask why. Ask why. Don't just take it because it's written in a book. Ask why. And so that's how I spend my week getting to every Sunday's talk, is I'm searching, deeper diving for understanding more of how we got here. How did we get here? And so I questioned this. And then I dug. And I knew, because unity encouraged me to ask what's maybe the deeper meaning of this story. And as I took classes and read, and what I love about metaphysical interpretation, and I'm going to say this to anybody that is at least started to delve into that at all. Metaphysical interpretation, there is no one that's going to tell you how to interpret this. This is Kathy and what Kathy has read over reading unity literature, science of mind literature, that this speaks to me. So this is Kathy's metaphysical interpretation of the nativity scene. Are you ready? All right. We're going to start off with, I'm going to start off with the angel. Right. Because the angel first appeared to Mary, right? Okay. Anytime that you see angels in the Bible, they're really metaphysically talking about higher thoughts. Okay. Angels are always above us, aren't they? So they're talking of higher thinking, higher thoughts, higher consciousness. So, of course, the angel's going to appear to Mary. All right? Then we have, So then we have appearing to Mary. All right? Mary represents the female aspect of us. We all have a male and female aspect. Agree? Right? We all have a male and female nature. So Mary represents unconditional love, compassion. She's that type of energy, right? Okay. So, of course, he appears to her, and Mary is, I don't think this can be, right? So when you first receive a higher thought, when you first receive a higher way of thinking about something that's going on in your life, what's the first thing you do? Doubt. Right. First thing Mary did was doubt. But then, because of her nature, her willingness to consider it, the thought progresses. Now the angel appears to Joseph. Oh, I love that scene in there. You know, you're going to have a baby, right? A little baby, right? But Joseph is in all of us too. Joseph is the male aspect of us. So you got your male and female energy. And what is Joseph? Joseph is like the protector, right? So you've got these new ideas coming in. You're saying you're willing. Now we need to protect those ideas. So we need both of these natures going into birthing a new way of being. Am I going too fast here with this? Okay? Because I really want you to have, I will never forget 13 years ago when I did my first Christmas service here, and I did this, similar. My daughter, who never put out a nativity scene, my daughter was kind of against God. Yep, her mother's a minister. My daughter was just, it was too much of the Catholicism that she was raised in, that she kind of took to any of this. But I'll never forget, she went home. She didn't go home. She went to the store after this service, and she went and bought a nativity scene. So I know there's something to this. So it takes both of these natures in order to bring that child forth, that Christ in us. So we've got the angel appearing. We got the higher thinking. We've got the willingness. We've got the protecting our new ideas that are coming forth. Now they left Nazareth. Why did they leave Nazareth? Does anybody remember what that was about? There was a census. And Joseph had to go back to his hometown, which was, they're on the way to Bethlehem. So they're living in Nazareth. Nazareth, metaphysically, means kind of a dull life. There was no spiritual conversations in Nazareth. They were kind of living a mundane life. Now they're going to Bethlehem because of the census, and Joseph's got to go back to his hometown. Bethlehem metaphysically means bread of life, living, the land of the living. You cannot birth your Christ consciousness in a mundane way of life. True? You want to birth your Christ consciousness in the land of the living, where you're encouraged for spiritual ideas. All right? So now, here we go to Bethlehem, right? Oh, gosh. All right. So now, they're on their way, and I love that no room in the inn. Literally. That's another whole story on that. I may get back to that one. All right, where's our shepherds? Okay, so now the shepherds hear about this. But what is the job of a shepherd? Take care of their sheep, right? Okay, what do sheep do? Why do they need a shepherd? Oh, they wander. The sheep are any of the animals are more of our lower thinking, okay? Not negative thinking, just lower thinking, okay? So sheep wander. How do your thoughts do? Wander, don't we? And we all need a shepherd to grab those thoughts and get them. Come on. No. Anybody have scattered thoughts? And they prevent you from moving forward? Because you got to think some more. And then this sheep says, come on, let's go this way, right? We all need a shepherd because we all have sheep thoughts. Okay? You following this? Woo! I'm telling you, we could do a little movie on this one. All right, so you've got your sheep now who are wandering, but we've got a shepherd to take care of those thoughts, to keep watch by night and day. Keep watch of your flock, okay? All right, so now, and what do they tell us? What does the angel say to everybody? Do not fear. He's told everybody that. Do not fear, because fear is going to stop you from birthing that Christ consciousness, that Christ in you, to birth it again. All right. So they go, and they are now, who was first on the scene? I do like to say this part. Who was first on the scene besides these two? Shepherd. The shepherd. The lowly man. The person who is not in ego, right? The person who understands he's got these thoughts, she got these thoughts, and they're wandering, and it's okay. We're still coming to see this Christ child, okay? And not a thought about would he be welcome or not. Not a thought. He knew that he was welcome. So we've got that. I just think that's very interesting with all of our wandering thoughts, that we can get in, we're allowed to enter into that stable area. So now we've got the manger. Okay? The manger to me represents humility. To be born in a lowly manger. Okay, some of us think that we have to have this, we have to have that in order to be able to proceed further. Or we have to read another book, or we have to take another class, or we need to, I grew up as a child that the more often I went to Mass, then the more graces I got, right? Then the more deserving I was. No, this is to prove that we are deserving all the time. It takes a humble manger, a lowly little manger, to be able to birth that Christ child. The star. Did I talk about the star? Okay. The star is what guides who? Right. 3 or 4 wise men, right? Who knows how many there really were, right? All right. And the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, which is a big book, and I don't encourage people to really go out and buy that book because it will attack your mental state. You can do metaphysical interpretation of anything in the Bible on your own if you just start to open your mind to some of these concepts of what angels mean, what animals mean, what does the high road mean, what does the rocky road mean. Okay, they always say they're not sure. One way to Bethlehem was rocky and hilly. The other way was flat but longer. Nobody really knows which way they went. So isn't that the truth of us? And it doesn't matter which way you go, just go, right? Because you have everything you need with you. So the star represents, when they're talking about stars, we're talking about guidance. Okay? Guidance. You will always be guided when you start to have higher thinking thoughts and you get afraid, right? And you doubt yourself. You know that you've got Mary. You've got the Mary kind of love. You've got the Mary kind of guidance. You've got the Joseph protecting those thoughts. Okay? You're going to have wandering thoughts. But don't worry, because you have a shepherd in you. And that shepherd will herd those thoughts if you're aware. And you tell your shepherd to help keep those thoughts in order. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to birth a new way of thinking again this year. I'm on a mission to create a new way of thinking this morning, because maybe I didn't have such a good morning. Maybe I had a curse word with somebody, right? That's at that moment, you can gather all this and birth the higher road in an instant. So I love this story. I love this Sunday, because this to me is life. It is a roadmap on how to access that Christ. You are not bringing Christ in. You were born with that Christ. And it's our job to remember that Christ is here, and it's my job to birth it forward, to not keep it hidden, to not keep myself 9 months pregnant. Holy moly, would that be awful, right? Oh my goodness. So now here come the wise men. I didn't finish those guys up, okay, but the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says that these guys represent wisdom, accumulated wisdom, okay? We bring our talents, our skills, and our insights with us. You are worthy. You all have talents and skills and abilities. And when you trust those, you are bringing your gifts into the manger. The gold that they supposedly bring represents riches of spirit. Frankincense is a fragrance. It represents the beauty of spirit. And then we've got, what am I missing? Myrrh. You're listening. Myrrh is a preservative, okay? They use it in embalming. So it is the eternal spirit. So these three got to come along with gifts. You have these gifts. The Christ in you is not born in you. It is the allness of you. This little baby is always in you. You don't have to access it. It's there. You just need to remember and bring it forth. The powers of Advent, hope and faith, peace, love, and joy. These are attributes that we can choose to acknowledge, or we can choose not to acknowledge them. We can choose to be mad or still hurt at whatever was said, or hurt that I didn't get a card, but I sent them a card, or I got them a gift, they didn't get me a gift, right? Well, they looked like my gift came from the dollar store. I went to Macy's, right? This little stuff that rubs us, and we rob ourselves of the whole spirit of this season. And to know, as I look around at some of you who have lost loved ones in this COVID time in the last 2 to 3 years, and I go to nursing homes, and how thankful we are that we're allowed in now, but those days when they weren't allowed in, and how awful that was. And I look at our kids here, and the doing school online, just such a segment of our lives, and it was a tough one. But do you see how resilient you are? Do you see how resilient you kids are? You made it through. You made it through. Wow, wow, wow. You're having a baby again and again. You're having a baby again and again. It's up to you now whether you want to birth that child forth. Birth it right now. Birth it when you get up to sing. Sing with that, birthing that baby. Isn't that great? Isn't this great? So take a time to go see a manger scene this Christmas, this next week. You're going to see it altogether different now. I hope that you do. And my hope for all of you is to have a blessed, blessed week, a peaceful week. Don't get caught up in things that really do not matter. What matters is of the heart. What matters is love. That's what the Christ, this whole thing, this whole Bible is about, is trying to bring us a roadmap on how to stay in the vibration of love. So with that, I just say namaste, that the Christ presence in me truly sees and honors that Christ presence, that baby Christ in each and every one of you. Namaste.